Growing up, I don't think I ever had a bad childhood. I was always by myself in my room playing video games, or even just enjoying my time with myself, watching my favorite TV shows, my favorite animes, or whatever. But the only problem was I didn't really leave my room. I was always with myself. I was always self-isolating in my room, just doing those things. Because I was always in my safe bubble. I was in my safe zone. I never really went out and communicated with people. I never really talked to a lot of people unless I had to, if my family had to bring me somewhere to like a family gathering or to a family friend's place or even school. But other than that, I never really went out my comfort zone. I was with myself, just doing the things I enjoyed. But because of that self isolation, because of me being introverted and not going out as much, I just felt like I couldn't really communicate with people. I felt like I was struggling with so much social anxiety and maybe even a little bit of depression. Just not being able to communicate with people and be as expressive to people when I walk outside the house. And even just communicating with women and step out my comfort zone to speak to my crushes was something I really struggled with. I had a lot of limiting beliefs with myself and so stuck with this identity of who I was and being that person who was introverted, not as expressive, even just isolated and being alone was something I was so familiar with because it felt safe. It felt like I couldn't be hurt or rejected. And as I grew older, it created more problems to really be expressive, especially when I first hit my first year of going to community college, when I had to do virtual online. I couldn't even talk to the people on those Zoom calls because how I believed who I was. Just being scared to being open, vulnerable, and talking to people because I feel like I've lacked communication skills. But after my spiritual awakening and really understanding who I truly was, I wish I understood this one thing when I was younger. And before I go on with what I understood, I want you to share in the comments below if you're going through something similar, or even if you're experiencing something or have experienced it. Just share in the comments what your experience was like if you are in that isolated period or if you feel like you're alone. But anyway, back to the video. The one thing I understood is you're not stuck in this identity. You're not stuck in this version of yourself you believe you are or you once were. The thing is, because of how we grow up or the social conditioning of what we're taught by our parents or schools or society, is we believe something about how things have to run or how things have to be when it may not be so. You see, a lot of people are so caught up in limiting beliefs of who they think they are, whether it's a limiting belief about finance. You might hear this a lot, is people blame maybe politicians or their situation, or even in romance. They might have certain beliefs about certain genders or even about themselves when it comes to something like that. The thing is, it's not that it is true. We are taught that literally, which makes us believe that this is who we are, and even just the experience we had prior. And how do we get out of these limiting beliefs, and how do we get out of this idea of who we think we are or once were, is you have to have the awareness to know if it is true or not. You have to understand or be aware of your current situation and where these beliefs formed from. Whether it formed from your parents, whether it formed from your religion, or whether it formed from society or school. You have to ask yourself, is it true? And really dive deep into those belief systems. Really dive deep into why it is the way it may be. And even for me, because I was so self-isolated and had this strong social anxiety and even had a little bit of depression maybe of who I was, I had so much limiting beliefs about myself and so much self-doubt and never really self-reflected on anything about my life and just kind of just self-sabotaged or even just distracted myself by playing video games, watching porn, or something like that. And I realized none of those were true. It can be the fear we had or the limiting beliefs we believe are true, which are not, and you can always overcome those belief systems or doubts. So awareness is key if you really want to overcome these problems you have in your life. And honestly, you're not going to be aware of every single thing that may be there. Even if you do a lot of self-reflection, there might be things that you don't even know are there because they're so subconscious within your subconscious mind. And you have aware beliefs and unaware beliefs. But as you grow, as you evolve, and you keep going, you start become more and more aware of these limiting beliefs and these self-doubts of what you were taught, what you think you know or have learned, which may not even be true. And you're really just peeling away the onion of these belief systems. And if you have a hard time with your beliefs, if you have a lot of self-doubt within yourself, then down below I have a free reframe document that you can use at any time you want. So the best thing I can say at the end of this video, if you are in that situation, is to really take time to self-reflect, to meditate, to find yourself, to introspect within yourself, to even journal, and really dive deep into these core belief systems that you believe is true, this identity that you have to think, is this true who I am? Or is this something I was taught to be or to behave, to act? And really start to drop these bags that you're carrying. You believe that fits your narrative, which might not even be true. But in any case, thanks for watching the video. Peace. Till next time.